that is, Thales, seems, according to some, to have been the first to study astronomy, and to foretell the eclipses and motions of the sun, as Eudemus relates in his account of astronomical works. And for this reason he is honoured by Xenophanes and Herodotus, and both Heraclitus and Democritus bear witness to him. Plutarch, Platonic Questions, 8, 4. Thus time, having a necessary union and connexion with heaven, is not simple motion, but, so to speak, motion in an order, having measured limits and periods; of which the sun, being overseer and guardian to limit, direct, appoint, and proclaim the changes and seasons which, according to Heraclitus, produce all things, is the helper of the leader and first god, not in small or trivial things, but in the greatest and most important. Aristotle, On Sense and the Sensible, 5. Some think that odour consists in smoky exhalation, common to earth and air, and that for smell all things are converted into this. And it was for this reason that Heraclitus thus said that if all existing things should become smoke, perception would be by the nostrils. Aristotle, Eudemian Ethics, 7, 1. And Heraclitus blamed the poet who said, "Would that strife were destroyed from among gods and men! For there could be no harmony without sharps and flats, nor living beings without male and female, which are contraries." Aristotle, Nicomachean Ethics, 8, 2. In reference to these things, some seek for deeper principles and more in accordance with nature. Euripides says, "The parched earth loves the rain, and the high heaven, with moisture laden, loves earthward to fall." And Heraclitus says, "The unlike is joined together, and from differences results the most beautiful harmony, and all things take place by strife." Columella, On Agriculture, 8, 4. Dry dust and ashes must be placed near the wall, where the roof or eaves shelter the court, in order that there may be a place where the birds may sprinkle themselves; for with these things they improve their wings and feathers, if we may believe Heraclitus the Ephesian, who says, "Hogs wash themselves in mud, and doves in dust." Hippolytus, Refutation of all Heresies, 9, 10. And good and evil are one. The physicians, therefore, says Heraclitus, cutting, cauterising, and in every way torturing the sick, complain that the patients do not pay them fitting reward for thus effecting these benefits and sufferings. Scholiast B. in Iliad, 4, 4. They say that it is unfitting that the sight of wars should please the gods, but it is not so; for noble works delight them, and while wars and battles seem to us terrible, to God they do not seem so; for God, in his dispensation of all events, perfects them into a harmony of the whole, just as, indeed, Heraclitus says that to God all things are beautiful and good and right, though men suppose that some are right and others wrong. Plutarch, Consolation to Apollonius, 10. For when is death not present with us? As indeed Heraclitus says, "Living and dead, awake and asleep, young and old, are the same, for these several states are transmutations of each other." Plutarch, About the Pythia's Oracles, 11. Those who adopt the reading hebontos, that is, at man's estate, reckon a generation at 30 years, according to Heraclitus, in which time a father may have a son who is himself at the age of puberty. John Lidus, De Mensibus, 3, 10. 30 is the most natural number, for it bears the same relation to tens as 3 to units. Then again it is the monthly cycle, and is composed of the four numbers 1, 4, 9, 16, which are the squares of the units in order. Not without reason, therefore, does Heraclitus call the month a generation. Marcus Antoninus, 442. We all work together to one end, some consciously and with purpose, others unconsciously; just as indeed Heraclitus, I think, says that the sleeping are co-workers and fabricators of the things that happen in the world. Plutarch, On Superstition, 3. Heraclitus says, "To those who are awake there is one world in common, but of those who are asleep each is withdrawn to a private world of his own." Plato, Hippias Major, 289b. And does not Heraclitus, whom you bring forward, say the same, that the wisest of men compared with God appears an ape in wisdom and in beauty and in all other things? Plato, Hippias Major, 289a. You are ignorant, my man, that there is a good saying of Heraclitus to the effect that the most beautiful of apes is ugly when compared with another kind, and the most beautiful of earthen pots is ugly when compared with maiden kind, as says Hippias the wise. Diogenes Laertius, 9.1. And he, Heraclitus, used to say that Homer deserved to be driven out of the lists and flogged, and Archilochus likewise. Iamblichus, On Mysteries, 5.16. I distinguish two kinds of sacrifices: first, those of men wholly purified, such as would rarely happen in the case of a single individual, as Heraclitus says, or of a certain very few men; second, material and corporeal sacrifices, and those arising from change, such as are fit for those still fettered by the body. Part 5